Last night, the government handed down their federal budget, and it was the big cash spend that we were all anticipating, with money going to healthcare, aged care, childcare, infrastructure, job training, and a number of other areas. And this big cash splurge is largely due to the recovery that we're still going through for COVID-19. But I do have a sneaky suspicion that it also has something to do with the federal election that's in the not too distant future. But today I want to focus on the aspects of the budget that I think are important for you and may impact your financial plan. But please remember that all of these changes are just proposed at this stage and they need to pass through Parliament to become legislated. Hello guys, Brad here from The Guided Investor. Welcome back to the channel for another video. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button because I post regular videos about how you can do more with your money. And today we're summarizing the 2021 federal budget. Let's kick things off with superannuation because, as you all know, I'm a big fan of superannuation and there were some important changes made here. There is a suggested repeal of the work test from 1 July 2022 for certain types of contributions. So currently, if you're aged between 67 and 74, in order to contribute to your super, you need to meet a work test, and that is, you have to have worked a minimum of 40 hours in a 30-day consecutive period. Now, it's proposed that this work test will no longer apply to non-concessional contributions and salary sacrifice contributions. So this will also give you access to the bring forward rule, which allows you to bring forward up to 2 years of non-concessional contributions into a single financial year. But bear in mind, this doesn't cover personal deductible contributions. So if you're aged between 67 and 74 and you want to make a personal deductible contribution to your super, then you still need to meet that work test. Next up, we have the reduction in the eligibility age for the downsizer contribution. So it's currently age 65 and it's planned to go to age 60 from 1 July 2022. If you don't know what the downsizer contribution is, it's a way for eligible people to sell their principal place of residence that they've lived in for 10 years or more and contribute up to $300,000 of the proceeds into superannuation. And the beauty of this is that $300,000 contribution doesn't form part of any traditional cap limit. This means that for a couple over the age of 60 who both use their downsizer contribution and their other cap limits could put a combined $1.26 million into superannuation in a single financial year, which is a really good retirement planning strategy. Expected from 1 July 2022, the government has also announced that it wants to remove the $450 per month minimum on the superannuation guarantee income. So under the current rules, if you earn less than $450 per month, then your employer is not currently required to make superannuation contributions for you. But moving forward, they will. Now, this is obviously a positive for people who work part-time or casually, because at the end of the day, the more you contribute to your super and the earlier you do so, the better off you're gonna be in the long run. That summarized the main changes to super. There were some other announcements around complying pension and annuity conversions, and they're also looking to relax the residency requirements for SMSFs. But that's very specific to a small group of people, so I'm not going to touch on that now. What is important to note, however, is there was no talk of stopping the superannuation guaranteed contribution increasing from 9.5% to 10%. So that will go ahead as planned from 1 July this year. In addition, the government didn't announce an extension to the halving of the account-based pension minimums. As a result, the standard minimum drawdown requirements will apply from 1 July 2021. The government has announced that it will increase the maximum allowed withdrawal under the First Home Buyer Super Saver Scheme from $30,000 to $50,000 from 1 July 2022. If you're not familiar with the First Home Buyer Super Saver Scheme, it's basically a way to use your superannuation to save a deposit for your house. And the reason why you'll do that is because it's a tax-effective way to save up a deposit. Now, I've done a video on it previously explaining how it works in detail, so I will link that in the description box below if you're interested. But I am a big fan of this scheme, and I do like that they're increasing it, because at the end of the day, the more money that you have as a deposit to put towards your first house, the safer your financial position is going to be. The government is also looking to introduce a family home guarantee for single parents with a dependent child, and it's a way for them to get into a house, whether they're a first home buyer or they've owned a house in the past. So from 1 July 2021, 10,000 guarantee spots will be made available over 4 years for single parents with a dependent child to get a house with a deposit as little as 2%. And of course, this will help single parents a lot, because one of the hardest things about getting into a house is saving up that deposit. So this is a way where they can save a smaller deposit, not pay lenders mortgage insurance, and not have to worry about getting a guarantor. But just remember, it's always going to be beneficial to save up as much deposit as you can yourself, because again, it just strengthens and secures your financial position. The government is also providing an additional 10,000 spots under the new home guarantee for the 2021-22 financial year. And this one is a way for first home buyers to either build a house or buy a brand new house with a deposit as small as 5% and not pay lenders mortgage insurance. I won't go into this one in detail because I've done a full video on it previously, and again, I'll link that video in the description box below. Effective from July 2022, the government has announced that it will increase the childcare subsidy rate by 30% for the second child and subsequent children aged 5 years and under in care, up to a maximum childcare subsidy rate of 95% for these children commencing on the 11th of July 2022, and remove the childcare subsidy annual cap of $10,560 per child per year commencing on 1 July 2022. This will allow parents to work a little bit extra and still get the benefit of childcare subsidy. Now, again, I think this is a great move, because I've talked to so many parents that just have that dilemma between wanting to go back to work and it not being beneficial because they lose their childcare subsidy benefits. So hopefully this will give those people the ability to go back to work and still get a lot of the benefit. The low to middle income tax offset was set to be removed at the end of this financial year, but the government has said that it will now remain in place for the 2021-2022 financial year. This offset provides a reduction in tax of up to $1,080, and this table is a really good summary which shows the potential benefit of the low to middle income tax offset at different income levels. There's not much else to report on the personal tax side of things. There were some announcements made to the deferred tax arrangements on employee share schemes, and also a slight increase to the Medicare levy low income threshold. On the business side of things, there's been an extension to the temporary business tax incentive that was announced in last year's budget. Now, this basically means that if you're operating a business that has a turnover of $5 billion or less, then you can basically write off the full cost of any asset purchase, any eligible asset purchase in a single financial year. So that's essentially going to run for another 12 months, ending the 30th of June 2023. There's also going to be an extension for the ability of companies to use previous year's losses to offset future income. So if you had a loss that were from the 2018-19 financial year onwards, you can carry forward that loss and offset income now up to the 2022-23 financial year. But that's it for this little budget summary, guys. If you found it useful, then please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one.